The promotion you are believing God for is already decided. But before it arrives, there is a test happening right now that most people don't even know they're taking. It's not a test of your talent. It's not a test of your gifts or your intelligence or your connections. It's a test of something far deeper, far more costly, and far more important than any of those things. It is a test of your character, and it is happening in secret. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you from Scripture will make sense of every season you've been in where nobody was watching. You are in a season right now where it feels like nothing is moving. You have the vision, you have the calling, you sense that God has something significant ahead of you, but where you are right now does not look like where you are going. The assignment feels small, the platform feels invisible. The work you are doing doesn't seem to match the dream God placed in your heart. And because nobody sees it, because there's no applause, no recognition, no external confirmation that anything is actually happening, a quiet frustration has started to build inside of you. Maybe you're faithfully serving in a role that feels beneath your potential. Maybe you're doing excellent work that nobody seems to notice. Maybe you're being patient in a season that feels like it has gone on long enough. And you are tempted, genuinely tempted, to cut corners, to slack off in the hidden places, to tell yourself, when I get to where I'm going, then I'll give my best. When more people are watching, then I'll fully show up. But here is what you need to understand before you make that decision. God is already watching. And what He is watching for in this hidden, unrecognized, unappreciated season is the very thing that will determine whether He can trust you with what He has prepared. Let me take you to a field in Bethlehem. There was a young man named David. His father Jesse has sons, 7 of them, considered impressive enough to be brought before the prophet Samuel when God sends him to anoint the next king of Israel. 7 brothers lined up, ready. One after another they stand before the prophet, and one after another, God says, "Not this one." And then Samuel asks Jesse in 1 Samuel 16, verse 11, "Are here all thy children?" And Jesse, almost as an afterthought, says, "There remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep." He's out in the field. He wasn't even invited to the ceremony. He wasn't considered significant enough to be called into the room where his destiny was being decided. But God had already made His choice. And when David came in from the fields, still smelling like sheep, completely unaware of what was about to happen, God said to Samuel in verse 12, "Arise, anoint him, for this is he." The king of Israel had been tending sheep in a field where nobody could see him. And what God saw in that field, the faithfulness, the character, the integrity David was building in secret, was exactly what God was looking for in a king. Before David was trusted with a throne, he was trusted with sheep. Before he was trusted with a kingdom, he was trusted with the hidden place. Here is the principle you need to understand. God does not promote what He has not first tested, and He does not test you in the spotlight. He tests you in the secret place. In the assignment no one is celebrating. In the work no one is noticing. In the posture of your heart when the audience is zero. Jesus teaches this with exact precision in Luke chapter 16, verse 10. "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much." This is not just a principle of management. This is God's promotion system. The way you handle the small, unimpressive, overlooked assignment tells God everything He needs to know about how you will handle the large one, because character is not situational. Character is consistent. And if you cannot be faithful when nobody is watching, you will not remain faithful when everyone is watching. The platform doesn't create character, it reveals it. And the parable of the talents in Matthew 25 makes this undeniably clear. The master returns and says to each servant who is faithful with what they'd been given, verse 21, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things." Faithful over a few things. Not talented over many things, not impressive over many things, faithful over the few, over the small, over the season that didn't look like the destiny. That faithfulness, not the skill, not the ability, not the charisma, That is what unlocked the promotion. That is what the master was looking for. And that is what God is looking for in you right now. I want you to feel the weight of what God saw in David before anyone else did. While his brothers were standing in the room being evaluated by a prophet, David was in a field, alone, faithfully doing a job that no one thought was impressive enough to even call him in from. And yet, everything God needed to see to make his decision was being demonstrated in that field. David didn't know he was being tested. He wasn't performing faithfulness because a prophet was coming. He was faithful because that's who he was when nobody was watching. And that is the test. Not who you are when the stakes are high and the audience is large, but who you are at 2 o'clock in the morning in the assignment no one knows about. That is where God reads your heart. Proverbs 22 verse 29 says, "Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men." Diligence, faithfulness, excellence, consistency in your business, in your work, in whatever you have been given right now. That diligence is the path to standing before kings. Not networking, not self-promotion, not positioning yourself in the right rooms. Diligence in the work in front of you, wherever that work is.
And 1 Peter 5, verse 6 ties it all together with a word that reframes this entire season. "Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time." Under the mighty hand of God. That phrase carries weight. It means stay in your current position without fighting it. Don't resist the hidden season. Don't resent the small assignment. Don't perform for an audience you wish you had, instead of serving with excellence the one you've been given. Humble yourself under the hand of God, because it is that same mighty hand that will lift you when the time is right. And James 4 verse 10 echoes it. "Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up." He shall lift you up. That is not a maybe, that is a promise. The lifting is coming, but it comes after the humbling. It comes through the faithful hidden season. It comes to the person who was excellent when no one was watching, because God was. So here's what I want to leave you with today. The assignment you are in right now, the one that feels too small, too hidden, too unrecognized, is not an accident. It is an appointment. God did not place you there by mistake. He placed you there on purpose, because he needs to see something in you before he can release something through you. And what he needs to see is not what you can do on a stage, it is who you are in the field. So go back to that assignment and give it everything. Not for the people who might see it one day, not for the platform that might come. Give it everything, because the God who designed your destiny is watching you right now. And what he sees in this hidden place is what he will use to write the next chapter. Be faithful with the sheep. Be diligent in the business. Be excellent in the secret, because the same God who pulled David from a field and made him king is watching your field today. And when he says this is he, when the moment of promotion arrives, it will not be because you positioned yourself perfectly. It will be because you were faithful when nobody else was watching, and God was.
If this message reached you in the middle of a hidden season today, leave a comment below. Just say, "Faithful in the field," because somebody scrolling needs that reminder right now. And if this channel has been walking alongside your journey, subscribe and stay with us. Every single week, we come back to the Word and find our way back to purpose. The promotion is coming, but first, pass the test in secret.